Hey everyone. So, with it being as hot as it is today, and I mean hot, we're in this heat wave thing. Just thought I'd go over a few things if you're of minimal resources like we are, to keep the hens cool, or the babies, because I got some males in that baby thing. Make sure they have fresh water several times a day. Cool it down. Hose down the ground. They cool off with their feet, okay? So when you hose that off, that brings the temperature down. We do it with all of them. Make sure they have plenty of shade. Limited resources. Like I said, we have a car cover over there, a bed sheet, and a bed cover to provide them shade. Always keep them hydrated. You see that muddy spot right there? I am not ashamed, and I'll tell you why. The water has a cooling effect, okay? Even though it's mud, it still cools. So that's what they need to keep them happy and healthy. We did this last year, our first year having chickens, and we're doing it again this year. We come through the summer okay last year with no bad effects. These girls here, other two must be in the little house area there laying eggs or something. But it's very important to make sure they have shade. Make sure they have some kind of light in there. Because in the hen house, if you have some kind of light, they're able to see a predator coming at them, okay? It does not matter what anyone tells you. They cannot see in the dark. I know a lot of people who can't see in the dark. Oh, there's one that just popped out. Now, with all that being said, I'm going to point out roos and hens. Okay, so roos, when they're small, when they're young, like that one right there with all the red on him, okay, they're only about maybe 3 or 4 months old. The one down there on the ground with the red comb and the red wattle, that's a male. Okay, the females don't have that yet. Not like that. Males, there's one over there, a red one, I call him Red. He's a Rhode Island Red. He's got the same thing, and there's 2 more in there somewhere. There's one deep down in there underneath. But yeah, limited resources. You make do with what you got, and you do the best you can. We rely on these hens to provide us with eggs so we can help feed people. We do give our eggs away for free to people who need them. People in the neighborhood, we're getting around. They come up to the fence if we're outside. Hey, you got any eggs? Yeah, sure. Hold on a minute. Let me get you some. And we'll pull them out of the refrigerator. With that being said, let's go to another topic. How good are eggs good for? Okay? With eggs, fresh eggs, they may be muddy, they may have some poop on them. Do not wash them until you are ready to use them. I'll tell you why. The egg has a natural bloom covering it, okay? I don't know why they call it a bloom. I'm not scientific. I'm not an chicken authority person. I only know by what I see, what I've done, and so on. And try to keep them in the fridge. You can feed, the eggs and shells back to your hens if you're, short on funds to buy feed or scratch. And they will eat them. They eat meat, any kind of meat. You toss them girls a whole chicken out there, a whole cooked chicken, they'll devour it. That's just the way chickens are. They will eat literally anything that don't eat them first. I've seen these girls over here catch mice and eat them. I've seen them running around with a slug hanging out of their mouth and all kinds of stuff, okay? Chickens are chickens. You know, that's just the way they are. You know, this is my second year, mine and my husband's second year in raising chickens, you know, providing to our small community. I see that little bit of breeze blowing through there in the shade, okay? That's exactly what I was trying to get at. But with that being said, you know, it's all good. You know, you do the best you can with what you have. You don't have to have fancy stuff. Another topic, okay? I made this coop out of an old table, a workbench that was in the garage, and I had some flooring that we took up. So I lined it all the way around with the flooring and made them a coop. For their lighting, these are solar, okay? I have 2 of them for this coop, and they charge during the day when the sun's out. Free lighting, okay? You need to cut down on your bills. I know in this area alone, our utility company is raising electric 50%. 50% electric. That's terrible. These girls, we just installed their solar lights. They're up on top of the shed there, in which we repurposed an old shed we were planning on having, you know, taken down and whatever. I'm glad we didn't. You never know what you might need. You know, these girls mean a lot to us. We've gotten close to them because we've raised them from babies. They're hot. They're panting. You see the mouth open there? That's panting, just like a dog. They have to pant to cool down. Don't panic, okay? Do the best you can with what you have and make sure they get plenty of fresh water. You know, you don't have to dump the water all the way out. Just stick your hose in there and let it, you know, circulate the water from the bottom, actually, and move it up and push out some of the debris that the girls may get in there. Anyway, there's my little Roo boy right there. One of them, one of 4. Red comb, red wattle. He's also got pretty feathers. You know, the black feathers you see, get them in the sun, they're like iridescent green or something. Really super cool. But I think that's about all the tips I have for the day. Like I said, also, keep some kind of netting over the top because of predators. We have hawks like crazy out here where we are. You know, we're not in the city limits, we're in the county. So we can get away with a lot out here. You know, we can burn cardboard or, you know, excess wood or whatever when we have a project. You know, it is what it is. Like I said, you do the best with what you have. Chickens can have table scraps. Yeah. They love fresh tomatoes from the garden. What I have figured out about these is they do not care for store-bought fruits and vegetables unless it's a watermelon, okay? They adore watermelon. They're afraid of it. When you put it in there, they're going to do their chicken panic thing. But they love watermelon. They will eat the rind and everything. Tomatoes, you better guard your tomatoes if you're growing them because they will ransack the tomatoes and take off with them. We have volunteer plants popping up all over the place from the girls raiding the tomatoes last year. There's one right there at that coop. There's one in the garden area on the side of the house. There's a couple of them over here. There's a big one. Yeah, volunteer tomato plants. It's up to you if you want to save them or not. We're going to leave them out. You know why? Because that's extra for the chickens. So that's it. You guys try to stay cool. Love and respect to all of you, especially if you have chickens and you're trying, okay? Anyway, I will catch y'all on the flip. Remember to like, subscribe, and share, please. I need more viewers. Got to be able to afford chicken feed, you know? So load me up with subscribers. I don't care if you watch the videos or not, but load me up with subscribers. And that's it. Talk to you later. Bye, kiddos.